Hello,
Hey,
how are you?
good. How are you?
Well, really well. Thanks for being
Awesome.
here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Hey, Wes.
Hey, how
Myra,
you
how
guys?
do I say your name? Myra or
Oh, it's Mariah. Hi.
Mariah?
Yes,
None
think
of the
Mariah Carey.
options I have my mind.
It's okay. I'm really used to it. Dan knew my name and he always called me Myra all the time. I'm like, yeah,
Well,
whatever.
that's probably what happened. He probably said it, and then that's what's in my head.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's all right. Well, speaking of AI, we have all kinds of AI note takers and things that are going to join us today. Good to have
Yes.
you. Good to have you read AI. We'll just start talking to these things, right? Hey, Fireflies, what's up?
Pretty soon you will. There'll be no people in here, just note takers.
That's right.
Mm.
Well,
We will talk about that today.
Charlie is supposed to be working with Myhriah, so let's hope that he actually comes and not just his note taker.
Jen,
And
too.
Diane, Ken, welcome.
Morning.
Very good. So we'll just wait a, we'll kind of, I'll stall for a few more minutes as people are coming in here. I think I've got the recording on. We're good with that. Yeah. There's Charlie.
Sorry, I'm a
Charlie,
little
you
late.
came today, not just your note taker.
Yes.
So I send you the heart. Cheyenne, Melissa. Melissa, you got any specs?
Did.
Nice. Very good. Wes, what is behind you? Like, oh, you got like a calendar or something there? Look like you're planning
Yeah,
something.
I'm downstairs today. The My family is out and about, and I was like, I'm gonna set up the kitchen table so I can refill my coffee faster.
Nice. Yeah, you change backgrounds frequently.
hmm
Cheyenne, no Sully, no dog. Oh, I see a dog in the background.
Oh, there's Mo. I washed Mo's bed, and ever since I washed it, he's like, nope. And so he steals Sully's bed. So Sully's on the floor right next to me.
Sully.
There's the boys.
Cool. So we've got beagles visiting. I've got 5 beagles and 1 golden doodle in my house. Kind of crazy.
Insane.
And so I have my oldest daughter living at home, Madeline, my 18-year-old. She moved out. She doesn't like the dogs. She doesn't like all the beagles. So she's living with my dad and stepmom right now. She says she'll come home at some point. And exactly, it's just a nice little trip away for her. And then our golden doodle completely separates herself from these beagles. She is like, this is terrible. I hate this. When are they going to go home? Kind of deal. Little does she know, as soon as they go home, we're going on vacation for Easter, which means she goes to their house because it's like we trade dogs back and forth. So yeah, this is how it's going to be. Well, hey, we're at 11:03, so we're going to get started. And we're joined today by Myhriah, and I have the right pronunciation. And now I know that Dan Miller put in my head that her name was Myria or Myra. But Myhriah did a session in Eaglepreneur. So many of you know that I'm in the Eaglepreneur Mastermind group. So I have the privilege of leading this mastermind group, but I'm also a participant and I love that work. And part of what we do over on that side is get relevant, current, outside experts to come in and work with us. I saw Myhriah do like real time work with people in the group. And I think that's for me personally, I get it. I have Chat GPT, I've gotten in there, but to watch somebody else creatively ask questions and then feed this thing information is that's how I learned. I learned well that way. So I thought, anyway, I saw Myhriah do that, and then I actually booked a one-on-one session with her to go through and do some of this work, which is something that she offers. Should you decide to avail yourself of that, there'll be more details. We'll email you, and she's going to talk a little bit about that at the end. But yeah, not only, and so Myhriah, first of all, I appreciate you being here, and all of you showing up makes this better and makes it happen. But also, Jen and Charlie both it's a two-way thing. Like Myhriah, thanks for doing work ahead of time with Jen and Charlie and Jen, thanks for volunteering. So we have some like real business use cases and for doing that pre-work with her. And with that, I'm just kind of bow out and be a participant. Brian, let you take over.
Great. Thanks so much, Wayne. And thanks for having me today. Oh my gosh, I am super excited. I got to work with Jen and Charlie, as you mentioned, and we did some fun stuff. In fact, yesterday, Charlie and I were finishing up and we were having so much fun. I was like, I didn't know you could have this much fun with roof work, but we did. It was great. So I will hop right in. We have so much content to cover today with, especially having 2 demos. We'll have a little less time, but I think you guys are gonna get so much more out of that I'm so glad that we're doing that. So for those of you, if you have used AI at all, please let me know. I'd love to hear in the comments, like what you've used it for, what you've used. There's so many platforms out there right now. So just a quick little story about me so you can get to know me a little bit. I actually did not intend to become an AI expert. It was not anything I set out to do. In November of 2023, 2022, whatever year it was, that it came out, what I did see was that it was an opportunity for me to help my clients who I was coaching. I coach small business owners and entrepreneurs to help them build their businesses. It was a way for me to help them get stuff done much more quickly. Something that used to take a year to get done now could take much less time. While it still takes a little bit of time, ChatGPT truly would come up with stuff like that. And it was like, wow, that was really good. So we learned how to hone it. We learned how to create things. And I really am a huge believer in the human element of creativity and innovation with the power of AI to get good stuff. AI by itself, personally, I don't think it's that great. If you just go in and enter something into AI and expect to get something awesome, you're going to be disappointed. And I've had plenty of people tell me that at this point. So, I was actually offered the opportunity, as Wayne mentioned, the Eagles community I was already sharing that I was working with it. I was walking clients through an AI and Canva walkthrough. And, a couple of them said, hey, you should be teaching this. And so then I was just sharing that what I was doing. And they asked me, hey, you want to come teach a class on it? And I was like, sure, I'll come teach a class on it. Why not? So I taught a class. I brought in my partner that I have now, Amanda Goff, who's basically the Canva queen. And in there, we were told, hey, you should start a membership. And so, like all great entrepreneurs, I said, okay, we'll start a membership. That was October of last year. And using AI, Canva, and Google, we were actually able to create a profitable business in 1 month. We had our first $1,000 month in November. And so we are adamant believers in keeping things simple. We like to help people where they're at. We don't like to try and take people out of the groups that they're already a part of. Case in point, yesterday, someone I met with yesterday was part of Jen McDonough's Wealthy Speaker School. And while I could help them, I also said, you know what? I think you're in a great place. I don't want you to come do something with me unless it makes sense. But also I want you to keep working with her because she's amazing. I love her. So, there's just really finding that balance. So what we have decided that we are the keep it simple, sweetie gals. Like, we want you to keep it super simple, use things that make sense, only spend money when it makes sense, invest in yourself where you're going to get the best bang for your buck, like a group like this. And then secondly, where your get stuff done coaches. Like, I am not the person that's going to spend 3 years with you coaching. It's kind of seems silly, but a lot of people are like, oh, you're just trying to work yourself out of a business. No, I just want to help people get stuff done. And that just really is my passion now, because I believe people start a business for a reason. They're passionate. They love what they are going to do. And so I want to help them to be able to do that. And I find technology, I don't know about you guys, if anybody else out there, it is one of the biggest things that's keep people from building their business. So I want to help people to be able to get that stuff done. So here we are. I did take a law class recently in AI. And what was affirmed for me, and this is why we teach what we teach, is that, all these platforms that come out every day, you see new things, you see all these certifications and all of that stuff. When it boils down, kind of like the .coms, right? There were all those .coms for a while there, and then it kind of boiled down to a few things. What we are hearing from a lot of experts from this law class I took and all over the place is that prompt engineering is going to be where it's at. And all the platforms, if you learn how to do this, you will be well set. So that's what we teach. Awesome. I see everybody has used a little bit of AI. It's so crazy to me. I like to know now because I was in a group recently and I taught this exact same overview, which I thought was a pretty low level overview. And come to find out, they thought I was speaking Greek. And so many of them had not used it at all. And I was like, oh, that was a surprise. So just in case you guys have seen in the invite, I believe Wayne and Rhonda put it in there that we do now a free ABCs of AI on that we do that is actually in a lower level than what I'm going to show you guys today. So if you think I'm speaking Greek today, go sign up. I'm doing one tomorrow. It's an hour long. It's free. No strings attached. We just want to help people make sure they're on the same page at this point. So I just take it for granted that everybody knows AI at this point, at some point, at least a little bit. All right, so those of you who have never, if you haven't used AI, it looks like everyone has, but just for the sake of making sure I cover everybody, there's the link to use free ChatGPT. And I will tell you, I have used the free version. I've walked hundreds of people over multiple industries through AI with the free version. I have not paid for it yet. So I like you to be able to get the most out of the free version first. So that actually leads perfectly into ethical use. If you guys have questions, please make sure you put them in the comments. I will do my best to get to those towards the end. And I just want to make sure we have enough time for our demos, which are going to be so awesome. And we'll go through just a couple of things here. So ethical use. Everybody worries about ethical use. This is one of the big reasons that we see a lot of people not dive into AI. You know, they have a fear of it. Maybe they're overwhelmed by all the options, or they're just afraid they're going to use it wrong. So a couple of things, and this is why I took the law class, because I was curious about that too. I know we got regulations coming our way. And it used to be that, you know, when AI first came out, there was a lot of companies getting sued for using AI for different reasons. You know, maybe they were copying somebody else's stuff, or, you know, I know the New York Times is currently currently suing ChatGPT because they're saying they're taking their stuff and they're using it. And they're arguing, well, it's all public stuff. So, but what is happening too is that not only are companies getting sued, but so are individuals. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of some of the things, you know, while it's the wild, wild west, we just want to cover our butts and make sure that we're doing things properly. So if you just go into AI, you're just going to open up this fresh ChatGPT link that I sent you, and you go and you say, hey, act like Taylor Swift, write me a song, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. First off, you're going to get sued. Let me just say, Taylor Swift is actually very much, her lawyers are very much on the front lines of some of this stuff because everybody's using her. So don't do it. Don't tell it to act as somebody. Also, if you just put it into chat and you copy and you paste it and you use it as yours, everybody's going to know that you used AI. I don't know about you guys, but I can see AI. I can spot it from a mile away now at this point. You know, you've got too many emojis. It's super fluffy. It's just robotic. It's repetitive. There's just things that you can see. It's totally AI. So if you don't disclose that, you just take it, you don't edit it, you just paste it in, your audience is going to know, and that's not going to help with trust. So while you can do that, there is no regulation to say that you can't. Just don't do it. It's just not good. So make sure, and this is something that we'll talk about in a minute, if you go into AI, you're going to want to be as creative, as detailed as possible in your prompts. Some of my prompts are like really long. People see them and are like, oh my gosh, you put all of that in. Charlie's yesterday, I'll pick on you for a second, Charlie. We had all of his information from, you know, website about his business. We actually even took some videos that he did, and he was able to get the transcripts for those, and we put that in. I mean, it was very long. But because we did that, if for some reason someone was to accuse you of using AI, which we did, and if somebody was to try and sue you, which they probably won't, but it's just better to cover your butt, he would have a really good leg to stand on to say, actually, did you see all the stuff that I put in here? There's absolutely no way that this is not mine. And the lawyer who was teaching this law class, he said you'd have a leg to stand on. And that's what we want. We want to be able to build a case if we had to. And secondly, you created that. If it's all of your details, your information, and all of that, you could really argue that you were the creator. Yes, AI spit this out, but it wouldn't have spit that out without you. Go to AI and do something, you'll see. It will not spit that out without you. So, okay, I'm making sure I'm covering my notes here. Something to note of what to put into chat and what not to put into chat. Do not put personal contact information into ChatGPT. Emails, phone numbers, social security numbers. I know this seems obvious, but clearly it's not because it's happened. Also, don't put proprietary information in there. I am sure it did not come out this way, but I am sure that the reason that the KFC 13 herbs and spices is out is because one of their marketing people decided to put it in and use AI. And guess what? Now we all have that beautiful recipe. So don't put proprietary stuff in there. Now, on the same, as I say that, at the same time, unless you're a big company like Coca-Cola, KFC, some of those huge companies, it's going to be very unlikely that somebody is going to find your stuff. They'd have to be pretty specific to get that. My point is, though, if you don't want it out there, don't put it in. Also, make sure any chat type, well, actually any AI, check their policies. If you're unsure about whether or not your stuff is going to stay private, just because you pay for a platform does not mean it's private. So check their policies. There's several of them who have been revealed to not be private. I don't want to name any names, but just check your policies. Be sure you know. Just because you're using a paid platform does not mean that it's private. Okay. So let's see. If you are thinking that you want to, have a paid platform, ChatGPT is a good paid platform. And there's really only a few reasons that you might want it. If you are, say, a scientist, a lawyer, maybe you're in the medical profession, and you need accurate, specific citations for your research, for your information, you're going to probably want 4.0. Chat 3.5, just so we know, 3.5 is free. 4.0, you pay like $20 a month for. It's actually not even that much. But 2020 or 3.5 only goes up to, I believe it's mid 2022 in its information. So unless it's been fed information, it does not have it. It is not what we call web scraping. It does not go out and seek things on the internet. So it's not going to have anything unless it's been fed that thing. So if you are using it and you do want it to use something specific, you might actually have to feed that to it, which I do sometimes. If you use 4.0, that is what we call web scraping. And what that means is it will go grab things online. It will read things. It will do more for you. If you want to drag and drop a PDF in and tell it to give you the takeaways, it can do that. So there are reasons that you might want it if, you have these specific scenarios. Again, I've used it, hundreds of people, multiple industries, totally free. So, it's not very often that we see anyone needing that. Note takers. I'm so glad we had a note taker show up today. It was a good reminder. So something to be thinking about as a business owner, if you are a coach or you are somebody who shares your systems on a web call, on a Zoom call like this. It is really important for you to start considering whether or not you want to allow these into your calls. One of the things that has been happening is stuff is getting stolen because they have accurate notes from their AI. They have your recordings. They have everything they need to be able to copy your work. And so it is something to consider. I personally don't worry about it because I know the information that I teach is nothing new. Anyone can go and get it. On the other hand, there might be some stuff that we start to teach with our AI that I will say, no, you can't have this in here. I'm going to boot you out. For the law class that I took, they did that. They were very strict about this. You are not going to have note takers. If we see any sort of otter or any of those things, we're booting you out. So something to consider. I don't think at this point it's as big of a deal. Most of us don't have, coaching stuff that's like super secret. We've grabbed it from, multiple places and, we all share and we teach in our own way. Right. So there you go. So that was a lot about ethical use. I want to go through questions, but I also know we have a very limited amount of time. Let me just see. Can you share any cool tools that ChatGPT can plug into, such as Canva? Oh my gosh. So let's just say this. First off, you'd be hard pressed to not find AI everywhere, right? Every single platform is incorporating AI. Canva is a great one. Oh my goodness. If you are not using Canva yet, are you even a business owner? I'm just gonna say it. Like, no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I think I pay $15 a month for mine. I don't do the yearly, I just do the monthly. And between the content planner that I can use, the ability to just go in and say, hey, create a presentation about this, and boom. And then the branding, I mean, everything that I can't even like do it any sort of justice for the amount of stuff that you can do on Canva right now. So I won't try, but their magic stuff that they're coming up with is fantastic. Now, I will say they still need to improve on their text. Their text is not what we call generative. So when I say generative, and I'm trying to give you guys some definitions, I don't typically do this. I just learned that I need to try and do that better. But generative means that I can go into my same AI thread, which I'll show you guys in a minute when we do our demo, and I can use it for months and months and months and months. In fact, most of mine are very old. I've been using them for a while. And I can brainstorm, I can create things, I can build stuff out, but then I can come back 2 months later because I wasn't really ready to work on it and say, hey, did we work on blah, blah, blah? And it will say, yes, here's all the details about that. Now I need to create, this, I need to work on that. I need a post, I need an email, I need, and it will actually continue the work in that specific thread on that specific work. So it continues to generate, it continues to learn, and you can continue to train it. Unfortunately, Canva's AI doesn't really do that. So you have to continue to re-put stuff back in, you have to copy and paste it, and it's okay. If you just need to create something quickly, it's great for that. Okay, that's a lot. So let me go into some quick basics about the training your chat, and then we're going to go right into demo. So the biggest thing that we teach is prompt engineering, or we like to call it prompt creationeering, because we fully believe that it is the human innovation and creativity that makes AI great. And so we really teach to train your chat, train your thread. So some information that you can give it, I'm just going to go ahead and drop this in. Let me see, some detailed. Let me see. I'm going to give you some questions that you could answer and put right into your chat as a starter chat. Go here. There we go. You can just copy and paste those into a document, answer them, and then just copy and paste the whole thing. Believe it or not, you can put the whole thing in your chat, which I'll show you again in a minute. You can put things in like your personality style, your likes, your dislikes, your fears, your beliefs, your weaknesses, your lifestyle choices, plant-based, RVing family, homeschooling, remote worker, whatever that is, you can put it all in there. And the reason that I like doing this, regardless of if it's a business thread or it's just a personal thread, heck, I have one for date nights for myself and my husband. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's relevant to why you do what you do. So for example, your lifestyle choices might have a lot to do with why you build the business the way you build it, right? So, I personally build my business to stay remote so that my husband and I can travel, and he also can work remote. So we can go just about anywhere. And so I build my business that way. So it's relevant to that, if that makes sense. So whatever is relevant to what it is that you are using this AI thread for, put it in there. And what happens is it will actually continue to create your brand voice with that. I have a gal that I'm working with. She's going to be running for office next year. And one of the things that we put into her thread was some of the obstacles that she faced as a kid in the foster system, and some different, things that she had to deal with as a child. While it didn't just come right out and say those things in the copy that we've created for her, it has put major power behind her voice, to the extent that when we put together her LinkedIn headline, it called her a queen builder. And I was like, yes, that is so correct. She is a queen builder. She is powerful. And so that helped to be able to really create that voice and power behind everything that we've created for her. So I'm really, really adamant and passionate about making sure you put as many details as you can think of, and you can always add to it too. So the more detailed your prompt and the more unique, the better your output, which is what you get back from AI, will be. And then the less you have to be worried about, like telling anybody that you even used AI. If you do that detailed, it's going to begin to put out information where you're just like, I mean, I'll be honest, I hardly ever edit anything anymore because it's so clear and on who I am, what I do, all of the things that I might just have to tweak it just a little bit. But I don't, and no one needs to know that I'm using AI because it's stuff I would have said anyways. If I had a personal assistant and taught them how to use my brand voice, it would have been the exact same way. They know how to speak for me, how to write for me, how to do everything. So those are some questions that you can answer. I'm going to really quickly, if any of you are wanting to learn more about, have a free community of people who are using AI, I'm just going to put, we have a free Facebook group. We do little challenges in there. We do fun prompts. Heck, one of my favorite ones that we've done is my partner put together this great superhero prompt. And everybody who had their superhero done had an origin story, an arch nemesis, like all this fun stuff. And I was like, this is the best prompt ever. I created one for my husband, for my dog, for myself. It was so much fun. And then we created like stories with it. It was a great time. So there's so many fun things that you can do with AI too. It's not just all business related. The other thing I'm going to give you guys as a freebie, this is just a little bonus. Wayne, I didn't even tell you I was going to give this to you guys, but it's what I call a confidence booster walkthrough. And basically, you can put your resume in here. You can put your details, the jobs that you've done, everything. It'll walk you through it. It's a document that just walks you right through AI. But some of the things that you can do with this are you can, if you're looking for a job, for example, you can take the job description and requirements and drop it in there and then say, tell me why I'd be a great candidate for this. And it will actually pull out the skills. You can also, heck, I've just asked it, tell me why I'm awesome. If I have an off day, sometimes I'll just go to my AI and just like put stuff in and be like, okay, I just need to hear why I'm awesome today. So can you just tell me that? And it will. So these are some just great things that play with that a little bit. And of course, if you guys have questions on those, you can always feel free to reach out to me. Okay. Whew. So that was the Word document. If you need the PDF, let me grab that really quickly and put that in here too. I think I can do that. Nope. Never mind. If you want the PDF, just reach out to me and I'll send it your way. Okay. So time to get into our demos. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited about this. Let's do ladies first. And Jen, you and I walked through your business. This was really fun for me because again, I always love it when I get to try new industries.
Are you going to
Dwayne,
share
you look
your,
like you have,
are you going to share your
I
screen?
am.
Okay, good. Because there's questions
Yes.
about what is a prompt, and I think that you'll hit that.
Yes. So let me go ahead and yes, I will definitely do that. I'm going to do it. Oh, you know what? I think I need permission to share my screen. Oh, no, never mind. I lied. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start with Jen. And let me just show you guys a couple of things before we start chatting. So this is ChatGPT 3.5. If you want 4.0, all you have to do is click on here. You can see it's an upgrade. Easy to do. These are what we call threads. So you can see here, I have lots of different threads. I have threads for each of my clients. This is my thread that I've been using for months, ever since October. I can just go in and say, hey, I need to create a post about our ABCs of AI virtual classroom. Please, use an engaging hooking question for my ideal audience for this. I need to share, from this angle and make it a call to action to book a call with me. And it will just boom, 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 come out with it. And quite frankly, it's pretty spot on. I really barely change it. Now, when I do edit something, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of quick things here. Always, 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 always keep your threads somewhere else. Put them in a Word document. If you've got Evernote, put them in an Evernote or whatever you use to keep any of your notes and your information, maybe make a folder or something, keep it in there. The reason I say this is because AI is still the wild, wild west. We have no idea what's going to happen with it. I mean, heck, a few months ago, like the CEO quit and then it didn't work for like a day. People were panicking. And I'll be honest, I just taught a class on this and I went back and nothing was showing up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just told everybody to save their stuff. I need to follow my own advice. So as soon as it came back, I went and did it. I was like, oh, okay. So always save somewhere else. These are your threads. You can see here, I've got another one. I have a community called Gals for Women. And so what I do is I suggest that you, whatever it is that you want some main threads for, I have an overall work one for myself. I have a spiritual journey one that I've done for myself. I just name them what they are so that you'll know to come back to them. And, one thing I just learned from another client that she was doing is she was creating new threads every time she would do something. And I was like, no. Take everything that you like from the threads that you've created, put it into the one thread, and then use the one thread for everything related to this. If you have 2 different businesses, fine, do 2 different threads, but, use that thread for everything. I hope that makes sense. If you want to rename them, you just click this little dot. It's a rename. It's very simple. You can share. It just sends a document that people can copy and paste. They can't just open up the same thread. I thought they could, but you can't. And so there's lots of great stuff there. Okay, so these are threads. When I say the thread, that's what I'm talking about. So speaking of threads, we are currently in Jen's thread. And here you'll see I have Charlie's thread. I didn't actually, I think I did. Nope, I didn't name them differently. This one's just something like, what did it call it? It'll name it itself. When you start working in a thread, it'll start to name it. You can see here, it actually called it Jennifer's Extraordinary Business. So great name. I didn't change it. So Jen, yours was so fun because it's a different industry. I honestly, when I was talking with her, I don't know what we're going to get out of this. I have no clue. I've never worked in the salmon industry before. So this was totally new, but it worked. It was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. So let me just show you a little bit of, I won't go too detailed in here, but let me just show you the original prompt that I always call it the original prompt that we put in for Jen. You can see it's not super long, but it's somewhat long. Right here is all of it. Okay. I always, before I start working in a thread, after I've given it all this information, there's a couple things. I first start with assessing what I want AI to do. And most of the time I have it act as, you could tell it to act as something. I typically will tell it to act for my work as a business coach. I like to give it specific things like I want you to think of out of the box ideas, Imagineering style ideas, that kind of stuff. You can say things like incorporate, X method and things like that. Just be careful with that, because especially if you're creating something and you're calling it yours, you want to do that as little as possible. So I just will give it some, in fact, here, let me see what we did here. Act as a business and marketing coach that specializes in working with high-level executive entrepreneurs. I use this term specifically for anybody who's not just starting their business, because otherwise you're going to get really basic stuff. Looking to take their businesses and personal brands to the next level, make sure to use out-of-the-box Imagineering type strategies and extraordinary ideas. These are not your average clients. Then I told it your client is Jennifer Currian. Here, her info is below. So the assess, tell it what you want to do. The build, you give it your information, and then the create. And that's everything we're going to do after here. So I always ask it, this is the thing I said I always do. I always ask it for a synopsis after this. And the reason I do that, and I think, Wayne, was it you that our thread got like way off on some weird rabbit trail?
It did. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. Because it'll do that. It'll take like one little sentence in your information and it'll go off on this weird tangent. And we're like, what the heck happened here? So you can tell your chat, no, this is not right. Let's change this. You can have it alter. You can do changes in here. You can do different things. I think we had to do a little bit of that in yours too, Jen, because it was going more seafood and we wanted to go more specifically salmon, right?
Yeah, we also had to tell it to stop saying a word, but I forget what that word was.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
sometimes.
I don't know. It almost sounded a little nasty, but I can't remember what the word was.
Yeah, we might see it when we're in here. So I like to have it give a synopsis and make sure it's on the right track. You might have to do it every so often in your thread. In fact, I haven't had to do it too much in mine, but every now and then I'll just be like, can you just tell me what you think about this or what your thought, and it will actually give you great information. Okay, so let's dive in. I think so. What we did in here is we did some branding, we did some ideal client work. You could tell here, I'm actually going to share this with you real quick. I actually had it create a table of her ideal clients. I will tell you it's not great on age. There's a couple things it's not really great about. The things I check when I'm doing ideal client work are things like, what are the values and preferences? And then what are their pain points? And, basically some of the more important information about how you're going to work with them. So as long as it's close, awesome, you can leave it. But if it's like way off, you want to change it. You want to adjust it. And I'm looking to see. I don't think we had to do that in yours. So we did lots of work in here. We kind of, played a little bit. We had obstacles and we turned those obstacles into solutions. And so we came up with some great information. Okay, so Jen, do you remember which direction we said we were going to head today in this short time?
No, that was a few weeks ago. But when we ended, we were talking about marketing ideas
Okay.
and maybe a specific cookbook or something, I think was
Okay.
one of the most recent outcomes.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I do remember that. Okay, so you can see here, we actually came up with some really great, oh yeah, here we go. Here it is. 10 examples of unique seafood traditions from around the world. The brand name can highlight in their videos. I think we were talking both recipe book, maybe some videos, different things like that. And so let me just look through here. You could see it came up with some fun ideas. This was really great. And then we said, go ahead and give us 5 examples of this. So we took segment 1, underwater wonders. I think we then said, okay, so please give us 12 engagement questions that could post that they engage with their audience in thought-provoking discussion. Okay, perfect. So in working in any of the products, services, if you're doing an overall, whatever that looks like, I always like to have marketing for each of those products. Now, of course, before it used to take us forever to do this. So why would you do, why would you want to create lots of things? Well, we can do that now. We can do it quickly. We can do it easily. So let's say we created a recipe book, there's videos that she can do. There's, this could be segments of a book, and maybe not this one, maybe this one. And we can actually have it build it out. So for example, it's given us here, which one do I like? Ooh, Spanish paella parties. I love paella. So there we go. This is catching my attention right now. So Spanish paella party showcase the communal joy of Spanish paella gatherings where families and friends come together to enjoy a flavorful rice of various seafood. Okay, so you could take this depending on what we want to do with it, and we could do a couple of things. Where is I apologize. The Zoom controls always get in the way of my internet. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to say this is great. I like to talk to my AI nicely. I don't, it's just a theory, but I think we get better stuff out of it. We haven't tried it side by side yet, but I still think we do. Let's look at some ideas for a recipe book we discussed earlier. I would like to create a video about this. Let's start with that. Please outline let's just say 5-minute TikTok. I don't know if you even use TikTok. We'll just, what platform do you use actually for when you want to do videos?
Oh, YouTube or social media reels.
Okay, perfect. We'll start with a video and then we'll break it down into smaller. So this is a really great way that you can, repurpose stuff really fast. I love it. It's actually kind of interesting. Sometimes you can put in something for multiple times. Like I'll give the same exact prompt. I have, just some template prompts that I use when I'm training someone's chat, and I will get something different sometimes. And I don't know, it's just weird. Now, it's not great at ages. It's not great at times. I will tell you, it might be okay here. It's also not good at pricing. Pricing is way old, but I like to look at it still sometimes and just get ideas. So here, it's taken this and it's given us the joy of Spanish paella parties, a culinary celebration. Okay, awesome. So now I want to take this, and please take this outline and create, let's just go with 5 short video ideas that I can repurpose from this content. I like to be redundant also with AI because it's not smart. So make sure you're very clear. I can repurpose with this content that I could use for video shorts on YouTube. You can see I kind of really extra spelled it out for it. I said things a couple times. Okay. And I'm going to say, okay, now please create the outline for a chapter in our recipe book on this. You'll find that sometimes it's good to do different ways that you do this. The reason I did the videos before I did the chapter is because what it actually gave me a bunch of information on that specific topic. And if I had done it the other way around, it wouldn't have already had that in the thread. But because we did that, it now has it in the thread. And I find that when I do it that way, I almost like ask it a question of what it needs from me, or, you know, what will build something out. And then I say, okay, now let's take this information that you just gave me and create this with it. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it's way better if you can try to get as much information in AI, even if it's giving it to you itself, into that thread, so that then you can take that and turn it around into something else. A good example of that is when I'm doing client profile work. I'll say, hey, AI, what do you need from me to create a client profile? And it'll just list all these things out. I need demographics. I need this. I need this. I need this. And then I'll turn around and say, okay, great. Now you give that to me. And because I did that, it will actually give me all the information that it asked me for. Does that make sense? Wayne, you look like you're, I want to be.
Well, my question, so whenever you see a confused look on it, it's not confusion necessarily, although I'm confused quite often. It's more like what I'm thinking through is, okay, if I'm Jen and I've done this is helping me brainstorm and I get these ideas, then I have to go out and I have to record videos. I have to record a video about a paella party. And then I'm thinking, all right, and then what I got to get time in my calendar to do that. And then what do I do with it? Where do I put it? And how does it generate new people to get their first order of seafood? So it's my utilitarian brain that is running, knowing that people have limited amounts of time and how to action it and create a little factory out of this from something.
Yeah.
Maybe Jen has ideas on that. I was actually wondering what Jen was wondering or thinking.
Yeah.
Well, one of the I think the best things that came out of my time with Myhriah was learning what to put in the prompt, like how to talk to the prompt and tell it all the things it needs to give me what I want. I've had a lot of success actually in the last couple of weeks of using it to help generate employee reviews, because I'm not very good at writing. Like, I know the talking points and where the improvement needs to happen, but it gave me, I could ask it, you know, here is this employee I have in this position, here are the strengths, here are the weaknesses. How can what can be improved in these particular spots? And it was really helpful. But I think as I look back on my time with Myhriah, like, I learned to do that because of seeing her put in the prompt to generate these things. So I've used a few of the
Awesome.
social media things actually, but I think overall the biggest benefit was just watching how it all works.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, and that's the thing too, is like it can help us build a lot of content and we can do it quickly, but that all still takes time. So to Wayne, to your point, you're right, it takes time. So, you know, a couple things that you can do, you can ask it, like you can see here, I actually, because of what you said, this was so good. And this is why I like doing real-time demos, because you can just, we can really tailor things. But yeah, so yeah, you can create content, but yeah, it helps you with your everyday stuff. I mean, my husband for his last promotion had to fill out an application and send in his resume. And there were some questions on there like, why did you leave your last job? And so then we were like, okay, well, how do we put into in a diplomatic way, my boss went crazy. And we put that in and it spit out this beautiful, like I had an opportunity to change, but I mean, it was so beautiful. We're just like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Because how do you say that, right? So you can actually use it for very practical things, exactly like that, like for reviews. I have a friend yesterday who told me she's using it for her job descriptions for her staff and for policies. So yeah, while we can do all these sexy things and creating, we can also do an email. Right. It's not fancy, but it is really key and important. So, and then back to what you were saying, Wayne. Yeah. So you can actually also have it say, like, hey, put together a schedule for me. I've actually done this myself. I had it put together based on 10x is better than 2x, a non-burnout schedule that allows me plenty of reflection time for, being creative. So you can actually have it do schedules. You can see here also, I asked it then, I was like, okay, what are some platforms that she could use to create B-roll that she doesn't have to go and get herself? And so it gave me some of these ideas, which by the way, I'll send these to you, Jen. If you guys would like, I could take some of this of what we gathered today. I don't know if that would be beneficial, actually. Wayne, maybe you and I could chat after this about what would be the best to send so everybody has
Yeah,
it.
we can do
and
that
see
afterwards. We can gather some resources to send everybody. For sure.
Perfect.
And I don't mind if
Okay.
you share whatever. You have mine. You can share whatever you need.
Great. Thanks so much. Okay. So I think, so you can see here, we can build out all kinds of stuff. We could have taken this any direction. We could work on LinkedIn. We can work on, it can give us a heading. It can give us about sections. It can do so much once we have trained it. So here we have a fun idea that we could build out even further. And again, you can take some of these things and say, okay, you gave me this conclusion, for example, recap the takeaways from the chapter and start the Spanish paella parties. I could just take this and say, please write this. I like to put a colon. That is a little thing just so it's clear to AI what I'm asking it to do. Sometimes if you ask for an outline, it will give you an outline and it's very boring. You might just say, okay, now please just write this because it doesn't understand. Okay, so I know we could definitely keep going on different directions with this. Did you have any thoughts, Jen, before we finished on anything that we wanted to grab?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, we did a lot of work before this, so she got,
It was fun.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too. Yeah, I always love this. I have so much fun seeing what we can come up with. That just brings me lots of joy. Thanks for volunteering. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, let's jump into, gosh, we are so close on time. All right, let's jump into Charlie. Charlie, we talked about roofing. We had a great time as well.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said yesterday was fun.
Yeah, it was. I truly was like, I have no idea what we're going to come up with on this. No clue. But then, we started just kind of talking about, Charlie and their visions and the way they want to handle customers. And we really started coming out with kind of this like, okay, you're more like a premier, in a sense, a coach. You coach your clients through, what's the best look, what's the best prices, what, all of that stuff. And so we actually even came up with a new term during this session, become a neighborhood influencer. Because, if you guys, I'm sure everyone else has seen it too, when somebody gets a new fence or a new roof or whatever, they got signs in their yard and, the people come to your doors and like, hey, we're doing windows for so-and-so. We just wanted to stop in. So then we even talked about the concept of helping your client, because who doesn't love to show off something they just bought, even though a roof is the least sexy thing that you could buy for your house. It's not our favorite thing to buy, but it's needed. It's important. It's, how can we, maybe talk more to the premium service that you guys provide versus worrying about all the issues that people will face in buying a roof? If they got to buy a roof, they got to buy a roof. That's all there is to it, right? So Charlie, can you share just a little bit about, what is it that I'm pretty sure I remember what we decided we were going to work on here, but I want to make sure that we work on what makes sense to you now that you had a minute to think about it.
Yeah. So where it started and where it ended up are kind of two. It kind of split, but both things got addressed. So what I wanted to do originally was I like to make a ton of video, and I want all the video that I make to be used in like blog posts and used in my marketing copy, and because I want to put out like 25 a week, and I want to be the most mediated roofing company in my area. In order to do that, someone's gonna have to write in a lot of copies. So I wanted it to sound like me writing it in the way that I talk and inflect and things like that. So that was my original goal, was to just create something that sounded like me, that could write. I could say, hey, write a blog post or a social media post about the importance of using inch and quarter nails versus 1 inch nails, right? Like something just trivial, but it would use the way that I speak to make that stuff for me. So that way I can just go in, kind of edit it where I need to, make a video about it, and move on in like 10x the amount of content that I put out. But
let's do that. We should definitely create some videos based on what we did.
that's absolutely my plan with this thing, is to use, because that's how we got all the data. Was I realized I don't write a lot of shit down. I just speak it into a phone and then post it on the internet. So we use another AI tool to like transcribe all my videos so that it literally talks. Like this is like a mini me, essentially. You know what I mean? We trained it how to talk like me.
Totally. And before we move on, because I'm going to do my best to honor, I like to honor time. So we are going to really like push here. I want to make sure that you guys know, because I know I'm in most calls, people are like, what if I just want to hire somebody like you to come in and do this? So I did put a special together for you guys specifically for this group. Typically, I'll offer my 1 hour power session, which I'll go ahead and offer to you guys as well at a $100 discount. But I realize we have a deal going on right now for just $100 more. We're actually doing a branding VIP weekend where you're actually going to do a lot of this work that we just did, but you're also going to implement it. I've got my partner who's the Canva queen. And so not only are we going to create the content, but we're actually going to go right into Canva and create the things that we have talked about, and we'll implement it. So I have a code here for you guys on how to sign up. You actually, our 648 is now 348. Make sure you use the Campfire VIP code to get that. And then if you're like, hey, I just want a 1 hour session, that's great. I'm not married to whatever you want to do, whatever makes the most sense for you. I also have $100 off for you guys on that. Make sure you use Campfire 1. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I'd love to work with you if you want to do some work. Okay, so from there, let's just move on. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys, all of this is the original prompt that we put in for Charlie. So stop there, but then I had to tell it, nope, this is just for reference. I'm putting more. Here's some more. And again, I said, okay, this is just for reference. Here's some more. So all of this is the original prompt. So you guys can see we put a lot of information in here. Okay, so I wanted you to see that. That little arrow at the bottom that you guys just saw there, if you click that, that takes you all the way down to the bottom. Also, this little clipboard right here is the best way to copy if you're just copying your output. All that will copy is this little section right here. So just a little tip for you guys there. Okay, so based on, do we want to do this based off of that premium stuff that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Start the videos
Absolutely.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a couple of them. So, okay, let's just do 12. So I'm going to tell it, give me 12 video ideas. Let's start with we did. Okay, I remember, I actually wrote it down. Based around the idea of them teaching their clients how to be neighborhood. This is such a fun idea. I'm really excited about this. You might have to keep me in the loop on this.
I will.
Influencers. Okay, so let's just see what it gives us. Sometimes I like to give it a lot. Sometimes I like to just give it a little bit and see what it does and then tweak it from there. So you just kind of play with it. See, you can't break chat. You can't break it.
Like what's interesting to me is that you just said the neighborhood influencers thing, but because you kept it in the same thread, it knows what you're talking about. Because otherwise everybody would be like, I don't know what the hell's a neighborhood influencer? But it came up with that idea, and now it can reference back to its own idea that it came up with, kind of.
Exactly. And now I'm going to just take one of these. I'm going to say, give me an outline. Hey, look, my golden doodle just came in. Give me an outline for this. And again, colon. Oh, another trip, if you've never used chat before, when you're putting something in and you're not ready, if you hit just enter, which I've done, it's just all of a sudden just going to submit it. If you want to add something, you're going to hold down shift and hit enter. And you see that just took me down to the bottom. And then I'm going to paste this in. And I'm going to go ahead and have it outline this specific video. Now, of course, we can take this many different ways. We even talked about a bundle around this. So you could have it say, okay, in fact, let's do 1 minute of that. Please give me a bundle. No, an idea of what we could include as a digital bundle for this. I like digital because you can have AI create it and it doesn't cost you a lot to do. You can create it quickly and inexpensively. Okay, great. And then what are some collaboration type businesses? I can't type when people are watching me, even on Zoom, that they can partner with to help up their clients. This is something else we talked about, curb appeal.
That's a really cool idea.
And then we can even put that together, like give us an up your curb appeal. I don't even know what we'd want to call it. Checklist.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I wrote down yesterday.
Let's say top 10 things to do to up your curb appeal. So you guys can see we can take this so many different ways. We can build stuff out to a crazy amount. I mean, we can say, hey, upgrade your roof. Great. That's obviously one of the things that they provide, right? Add outdoor furniture. Oh, cool. Okay. Help us expand on this. You know, you can really, really keep taking it and playing with it and
Brought you
building
back.
out more. Oh yeah. Did I go away?
No, I brought you back to the screen. I wanted to, we're at 11:59.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to
Something that
stop.
just happened, something that just happened was Charlie said, like, you had an idea, Myhriah, and Charlie said, oh, I love that. And you worked with Jen, who's in the salmon business, and you're not, and you've not installed roofs, I don't think. But one of the things I get out of this is the value of having a thought partner in doing this, and you're a thought partner who's done this a whole lot, Myhriah, and you're a thought partner who there's a gift to not being in the salmon business. There's a gift to not being in the roofing business. Like that, we all get stuck at. It's partially what's great about business builders is we all are in different industries because we all get stuck in our own like kind of paradigm in what we do. And I heard you just kind of pop Charlie out of that. So just a plug for like working with you one-on-one is that you've done this with a lot of people and you ask good questions and then you're like, you start typing before we're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Anyway,
Thank
and
you.
the other thing I want to say is you all could do this for your people. Like I've done this with coaching clients where I've sat there with them. So you can be a thinking partner and work chat GPT for people on your team or your clients too.
Yes, thank you so much. I know there was so much information to go over. Thank you guys. Here's my email. It was just asked for. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you,
I'm
Myhriah.
happy to teach. So yeah, if you
You get
guys
all your
need,
stuff out.
yeah, if you need more support, join the free Facebook group. There's my email. You can reach out to me. I'm here to help. I love helping people with this stuff. So thank you for letting me share, Wayne. I appreciate it.
For sure.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Wayne.
Yeah, go get them.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone.